Until They Bring the Streetcars Back, Chapter 29. Saturday morning, the paper had a picture of Central fans whooping it up after the game, and in the back room you could see a girl on someone's shoulders, too blurred to recognize. Peggy was plenty scared while she ate her breakfast, so I told my mother I wanted to keep the picture, and I cut it out before I went to work and put it in my room. But Peggy and I both knew my dad had got over the paper with a microscope before we were up. Sid was gabbing with a rich-looking guy in the front of the store, and I picked off another case of whiskey. I wondered how long it would be before he noticed his inventory slightly short. But since Letterman had come after me with a carving knife, I was ready to do anything to get that rat. After I shut the back door on the truck, I tiptoed to the doorway between the storeroom and the front, figuring I could take another case. The kickback on the track will be thousands, the man said. The word track caught my ear. I eased a little closer. Nothing to stop it now. You're a rich man, Sid. The first new business buses are sitting over on University. You can give up peddling hooch and move to Florida. A wobbly old guy came in, and I whipped through the storeroom out to the truck. I drove away and thought about what I'd heard, and I knew it had something to do with the streetcars. My dad kept saying the whole deal was the work of crooks, but I thought he was exaggerating, like he did when he was mad, and I didn't know if I should tell him, and even if I did, what could he do? Anyway, I didn't want to mess things up with Sid until I had enough liquor to do the job, but I suspected that my dad knew what he was talking about after all. I stashed the case with the other two in the deserted garage, and with it the old rusted crowbar from the boiler room. I knew it would get harder as more and more liquor disappeared, but I didn't feel so bad about it since I was just borrowing it and Sid would get it all back anyway. All day Sunday I bounced off the walls thinking about Gretchen. In church I prayed like crazy and I slept most of the afternoon. But by evening I was going bananas. I found my dad in his upholstered chair studying the newspaper like God was giving a final on it. I was so worried over Gretchen I wanted to tell my dad all about Otto Letterman and how he chased me with a knife, but I was afraid he'd call the cops and Gretchen's father would get her. I settled on the edge of the sofa and tried to swallow the bird's nest in my throat, and my dad was so busy with the paper he didn't seem to notice. Dad, could I talk to you for a minute? I said. He didn't move. Then he lowered the paper and looked at me with a make it quick, I'm memorizing the newspaper expression. What did you say? He said. Could I talk to you for a minute? What about? Something's been bothering me lately. You in trouble at school? No, nothing like that. You know, I told you 1,000 times how important it is for you to do well at school. Yeah, I know. Are you doing anything to hurt your grades? No, no, I'm doing okay. I never got to college, and now it's up to you to see that you do. You can't let anything get in the way, or you'll end up like me, at the mercy of those with money and power. They can brush me off like dandruff. Dandruff. They can buy and sell the company like one of those little red hotels on your Monopoly board. You want to end up like that? The little red hotel on their Monopoly board? No, I won't. I'm doing okay in school. I'll graduate fine. Well, let's not hear any more talk about trouble with school, my dad said as he pulled out his pocket watch. It isn't anything about school, it's something. Lorraine, he called, the news is coming on. He reached over and snapped on the big Philco, and with Cedric Adams about to start yakking about the atom bomb and the communists, I knew I might as well be talking to a stump. Have a nice have a nice talk with your father, my mother said, as she passed me in the dining room. Yeah, I ducked into my room, where I could bounce off the walls in peace. On Monday, I ran the last 3 blocks to catch Gretchen at her locker if she showed up, and she looked relieved to see me. How are you? I asked, checking her for bruises. Did he hurt you? No, but he's acting strange after Thursday night, she said excitingly. Something happened, and I heard noise and the back door slam, and I went to the window and saw him run through the yard. Then it was quiet. He didn't come back for a long time. He was after me. You? Yeah, he found me in the house, and he chased me clear over to St. Clair, and a streetcar saved me, but I dropped the baby. The baby? Yeah, I had little Jacob, and I knew if I could show him to the police, they'd take your father away, and oh no, not the baby. You can't. You can't. I dropped him. I'm sorry. I lost. Where's little Jacob now? She was starting to panic, and my heart was pounding like I was running from Letterman all over again. I don't know. I'm sorry. Your father has him. I lost him. Did you tell the police? No, I didn't tell them anything. I was going to take the baby to them. You can't do that. Don't you see? He'll tell them I killed little Jacob and they'll hang me. You promised, you promised. I won't. I can't. He's gone, I said, trying to calm her down because I noticed kids looking at us. I just thought, listen, tell me what happened at your house. Nothing happened. He kept me home Friday, and I helped my mother house clean and do laundry. Did he say anything to you? No, just that I had to stay home and help my mother. The first bell rang. Golly, I was afraid he'd beat you, I said. I thought sure he'd figured out you told somebody about the baby. I took a hold of her arm. Are you sure he didn't hurt you? Yes, but I don't know why he didn't figure it out. Gretchen gathered her books and closed her locker. I got a run. I said, maybe he thinks I was just a robber and thought I had a ham or something. He looked her in the eye. The look in her eye scared me, and when she hurried away in the jammed corridor, I legged it to my locker, suspecting that she felt her father knew more than he'd let on. I figured he didn't hurt her because after I saw the baby, he was afraid the cops would show up any minute. How long would it hold off when they didn't? Monday, the pairings for the district playoffs came out, and luck seemed against us. Central was paired with Monroe in the first round, and I knew how tough that would be after playing our guts out to upset them only a few days ago. With loser out, I hoped we could finally play up to our potential and take the first step up the ladder towards the state tournament. They warned us at work that some stupid had started kids have started a new fad, my dad said, as we ate supper. Pulling tries isn't enough for the delinquents of St. Paul. Now they're jumping on the fender. A motorman on the St. Clair failing line had a kid jump on his the other night. I didn't know streetcars had fenders, Peggy said. People call them cow catchers, my dad said. Why do they call them cow catchers? Peggy said. There aren't any cows. Isn't that awful dangerous? My mother said. If they missed, the wheels would slice them up like bacons. My dad said, what kind of upbringing has a hoodlum like that had? I had a hard time swallowing, like someone had run a vacuum cleaner down my throat. I wondered what my dad would do if he realized he was eating with the very hoodlum. I'm glad you're past that foolish age, Cal, my mother said. Yeah, so am I.